Two Jack Bros. Two Jack Bros.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Two Jack Bros. And if it's your first time, thank you for giving us a shot. I'm Sidney. I'm sitting next to Ansley.
Hello.
And today we have a guest who is none other than the Tyler Rothrock.
Thank you. Thanks for having. That's the nicest intro I've ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah. The is a nice way to say anybody's name.
I think it's a pretty prestigious.
Can't offend you if somebody says the.
Yeah. It can offend you if somebody says, and we have a Tyler Rothrock over here.
A is different.
Yeah,
D
it's a little
is nice.
different. Yeah. And before we get into all of this, please do all the things that you do to show love and support to a podcast. Rate, review, subscribe. Reviews definitely help on iTunes, right? I think that's where it's most helpful. Mm-hmm. And then all the other stuff. Subscribe everywhere. Listen everywhere. And also check out Tyler's podcast, Night Moves, a guest who's been on here, Lou Miziano and Sean Preston. Very funny guys. And they also have a live show that they do.
Yeah, live show. We got to get you up to do that one. That's
Hell
fun.
Yeah.
At the Emmaus Theater. It's like the second. I'm going to be wrong about it. I think it's the second Wednesday of every month. I should know that, but
Yeah. He's also wrong about the pronunciation of a mouse. So, actually, you're from the area. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to make this a whole thing about pronunciation of those sort of towns up there. But yeah, what's up, man?
Nothing. Just surviving the pandemic as a comedian.
Yeah.
Not well. I'm back at my mom's house, which is
Oh, yeah?
interesting. Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird time to sleep in your childhood bed.
Is it a race car bed?
No. It is my childhood bed though.
It's a twin bed?
Yeah.
You're
It's
sleeping in a
just a
twin?
little boy's bed.
Is it up against the wall?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's like,
Did
'cause
you
it
change the decoration of your room?
No, I think I lived in New York for a while, and then but my mom, she just kept it the same. I think it was like a move on her end, like a mental, like, no, if you're gonna move back, you're gonna sleep in this little boy's bed to get your life together.
Yeah. To remind you why you wanted to leave in the first place.
It's mental warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. Shout out, Mom.
Yeah.
Good move, Mom.
Yeah, I don't know if she knows I do comedy. So after all this time, I don't know if she knows what I do. She doesn't know I have a podcast, so that's been good. I'll be like, hey, Mom, I'm going to do the podcast because I'm leaving her house, obviously. And she's like, what? Like, it's just me and my friends talk to each other, but there's microphones in our faces.
Yeah, do you have a curfew?
Yeah. She does. She calls me, like, if I'm out with my friends, she'll be like, where are you? I'm like, Mom, I'm 30. Why do I have to check in every time? But I feel bad. Like, so I'm like, I'm not coming home tonight. It sucks so bad. It just sucks so bad.
Yeah, it sounds fun. It sounds, I hope we get the opportunity to do that to our son.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting some good tips.
Yeah. Got to get him a race car bed, though.
Yeah. Get him a comfortable bed.
Yeah, the bunk bed. I think we could keep the bunk bed, right?
Oh, my God. I couldn't even imagine if I had to sleep in a bunk bed right now.
It's a lofted bed. It's a single
Okay,
bunk.
I got you.
It's like
So
one
there's like
lofted bed.
he's got like a cool area underneath.
His desk.
Yeah, a little desk.
Nice. Actually, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah?
feel like- yeah. I might make a request.
That's how it's like Mark Twain's bed. So, Tyler, you're somewhat familiar with what we do on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
All right, and for those of you that are not familiar, what we do is we take our guest, who would be Tyler, through the process of enlightenment so that you and us can get a little bit closer to a higher consciousness through laughing at all of Tyler's shortcomings and insecurities and fears and so on. And the basic premise is to prove that anybody, even if you have like a dark sense of humor, you too can reach a higher consciousness. So we don't get down.
Let's go.
All right. So, Tyler, everybody gets the same questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? And we like to start off with, actually, Ansley, you want to take it away?
Sure. Tyler, what situation or event did you get the most information from?
You mean what did I learn the most as a result of whatever happened, kind of thing?
Sure.
About myself or just about life?
However it strikes you.
I was when I was in high school, our basketball manager died in a car accident. I didn't know him very well, but I remember he was like a high school kid and he died. And then that was like on a Friday. And the next day I had Saturday detention in school. And I remember like going to school and learning about his death and feeling very weird that everything continued. And he just like it was like a night. It's kind of weird to say, it's lame, but it was like a nice autumn day. And I was like, he's not aware of this day at all. And it was like kind of the first time I like, I guess, confronted mortality. I don't know, you know, it's kind of, that moment sticks with me pretty much.
Okay. And if you had to distill what you got from that, I don't, you might have already done that, but if you had to distill down what you got from that, what would it be?
I mean, I guess that you're gone, and like you have like a finite amount of time, and when it goes, like the life just moved on after him. You know, like we weren't necessarily close, so it didn't like, I wasn't like crying, and that was what was weird. Is like, damn, things are just gonna move on after. So I think that's what it was like.
The party doesn't stop.
The party doesn't stop, and like, you know.
Do you remember when you first realized that?
Yeah, I had I was in middle school, and I went to Sunday school, and our teachers were, I grew up at West Point, and so our teachers were cadets there, college kids, and our Sunday school teacher died in a car accident. And so we went to the funeral, and and it was just really weird, because it was like, you know, it like made her more than just like this Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
You know, like you see her whole family there and her parents dealing with this situation. And like I didn't cry the whole time I was at the funeral, and then I got home and saw my mom and like, you know, just broke down and cried. And but it was like I didn't really even know what emotions were. It was just like, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah. That's how it felt strange.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sad. I wasn't like crying. I just felt very strange.
Yeah, I remember. So when I was young, somebody died in our neighborhood. He was shot and killed, and this was like the first. He was like my sister's boyfriend at a time. I don't know if they were dating when it happened. I don't remember clearly, but he was a big personality in the neighborhood, and he died. And that day was weird because it was close to where we all were that he was murdered. And then the next day, we had this one dude that would walk around with a boombox on his shoulder all the time. And the next day, he was just walking down the street with his boombox.
Yeah.
Like somebody didn't just die yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit.
It's weird.
Yeah, people were back outside playing double dutch and shit. It was like, what just happened?
Oh, another one that blew my mind was when my grandma passed away, and we were at her funeral. Or like the next time, like my grandpa already had a girlfriend, and like the whole family hated this woman. And it was like, there was so much drama, and it was like, but grandma just died. And it was like, what is happening?
Well, grandpa still got to come.
Yeah.
you think
Everybody mourns in their own way.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. But that is something to consider. Like that, like of all the people that have come in here and expressed something about death, nobody has been rocked by the idea that the party keeps going.
Yeah, I think it was how little. Like, I'm not saying that he didn't mean anything to me, but it was like we weren't super close, so like I moved on, like my day kept going. Like I'm sure if I was close to him, I probably wouldn't have went to where I was going. I would have been sad and crying.
Yeah.
But it was like, damn, we just go to school on
Yeah.
Monday?
Yeah.
Come home, play Super Nintendo, reach a high score.
Yeah,
It's just like, what just happened? Yeah, it's pretty wild. So what we do from here, Tyler, is we're going to open up your chakras from the bottom up.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but yeah.
Because we're starting off with the chakra that's in your butthole. Are you sure you're ready for this?
Yeah, bring it. Yeah.
All right, Ansley, open up that butt.
Tyler, how did you learn to overcome fear?
I don't think I have. That's like I get scared of everything, and so it's so funny that you say that, because I was wondering fear is like. I wish I knew how to do that. I wish I knew how to overcome fear. I get so scared of shit so easily, and nothing like I'm a worst case scenario person, but I don't know if the worst case scenario has ever actually happened to me. Mm-hmm. So it's weird. Like fear is like it in stand up to it. Like I'll get so worked up about something and it'll just overcome me. So I don't think I truly know how to handle fear.
So how are you not crippled by it then? Like how do you find a way to move on and do things?
I do them. I think I might I might not be like fully crippled by it, but I might be like partially crippled.
He's
by
like
it.
in his head, like, ah!
I am, dude. I am. Like I freak the fuck out. Like for example, if I fly, I just accept that the plane's crashing every time.
Yeah.
And like I get scared, but I'm already in the seat, so
Yeah.
there's nowhere to go. So I think that's really how I do it. It's just
There's no safe place
There's-
anywhere.
yeah,
You're just
you
like,
just
well, I'm gonna
stay
die in the
there.
car or the
Yeah,
plane
yeah,
or on
yeah.
stage. Or,
You just strap in.
yeah. Like if you would like I'm like in the emergency room, like all like I get scared of like just I created in my head like I have like a tumor or an aneurysm. Like so fear for me, it's like almost therapeutic, where I'll get scared of something and to feel better about it not being there. Like one of the things that makes me feel the best is if I convince myself of a health ailment and I'll go get it checked and the person's like, it's not there.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel so good for like 45 to 50 minutes until I make my next one.
Yeah, are they extreme? Sick? Like, are you like, I
Yes.
think I have tuberculosis.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's been, I've overcome cancer like a million times in my life.
Sick.
Just everything.
How often do you go to the doctors each year?
A lot. All the time. My doctor has like literally told me to stop coming, which is probably malpractice. So yeah, it's crazy.
Do you remember when, was there a point when those feelings started, or as a child were you always like anxious and fearful of outcomes?
I think so. I had like a weird year in my life where like the girl I was dating, my best friend, died of cancer within like maybe 2 months from
Wait,
each other.
both of them?
Yeah.
Like a blood cancer? Or
The girl had colon cancer.
Okay.
And my Derek had it's called leiomyosarcoma. It's like a rare blood cancer. It like it attacks whatever it attacks. It's very, very quick.
yeah.
And like, so I just convinced myself that like, because I was like 0 for 2, right?
Yeah.
Like people
Yeah.
get sick and they die.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, when you get sick, like you better catch it or you're dying.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think ever since that,
How old were you?
20.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like 3 months or 4.
Were you still in your twin bed at the time?
yeah. Maybe that's why I've never left.
Yeah.
It's just my only comfort. And then my dad died of like a stroke. Like, so it was like
wow.
weird time of like, dude, people are just, this is, you'll get sick.
That was all in the same year.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. So I think ever since that, like if I would go to a therapist, I'm sure they would really buckle it down to that year.
Okay. Can you remember a time when you were the most scared?
Yeah, I recently I was on I came back from South Carolina and it was like a bachelor party, so we drank heavily and like I didn't have much water and I got home and I convinced myself I had a aneurysm and I couldn't be talked out of it, where they had to prescribe me Klonopin to calm me down. The doctor was like, he's going to die of his own brain unless we calm, like they couldn't calm me down. Like my blood pressure was, and I was so scared that I couldn't like not think about that.
Yeah.
I had no real, but that's the most scared I've ever been.
Okay. I'm a little embarrassed here. I don't know really what an aneurysm is.
Neither do I, to be honest.
Or Klonopin.
Klonopin is like it's like a,
Sounds like another ailment they gave you. It's like a high grade like relaxer, like it like basically it puts you comatose basically. So it Damn.
like, just chills you out and like you're not like yourself at all though. But
So they were worried that you were actually going to give yourself an
yeah, they were
aneurysm?
like, he's gonna die. His heart's gonna explode. Like I remember the doctor. My mom came with me from our house, and the doctor told me to leave, and said that's what she and he told my mom.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, he
That's
was like,
never as good in a movie.
Yeah. He was like, let me just talk to your mom for a second. They went in, and they brought me back in. They're like, you need to like chill, or this is going to become a
Prescribed. You wrote it on the doctor. Chill.
yeah, dude. That's literally
They gave you
what he
chill
said.
pills?
Yeah, like the highest ones. Like they're like, this dude cannot chill.
He's got no chill.
Man.
Yeah.
How does would you have brothers and sisters?
I have a younger brother, yeah.
Younger brother. How does your mom deal with you?
She barely does. She's like so frustrated with me because there's no real, because I'll like be like, Mom, is this what's wrong with, do I have this? I can't, like, I'll be like, Mom, do I have a tumor? Or do I have this? And she'll say no, but then I'll question her.
Yeah.
And then she'll eventually snap. She's like, I'm not a fucking doctor, dude.
Yeah.
Go see the doctor. And then I'll just like rack up medical bills. And then she'll be like, see, I told you. Like, I can't tell you how many times my mom has been like, or somebody has been like, I told you, you were fine. Now you owe this hospital $500.
Yeah. Man, I'm just like, it would be funny to me if you were just like, Mom, am I black? Do I have black? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Go see a doctor,
Yeah,
Tyler.
Like, how do you know?
Yeah. Are you sure I'm not black, Mom?
Yeah.
I think I need a second opinion.
I can't ask Dad, you know?
Man, and your mom and dad are still together?
No, he's dead. He's dead.
You tricked me, Tyler. You tricked me. I remember that now.
Technically, they died. They were still married, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he like no stepdads?
No. She's dated, but like nothing.
I have a very strict no stepdads rule.
That's
Dude,
it,
same.
every time.
Yeah, very strict.
That's what people would be like when my mom started dating. People would be like, "That's what your dad would have wanted." I was like, "No, he wouldn't.
Nah,
You want her to like stay missing him forever.
Forever.
Like, you would say it out of your mouth, like, I want you to move on, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
He won't say it.
Well, he's truthful.
Yeah. No, wear a veil, like
Yeah.
always in black for the rest of your life. Like always like eyes teary, like nonstop.
Yeah.
I want you to be hard to be around.
Yeah. Stay heartbroken.
Yeah.
In my absence.
All right. Well, that's a fear chakra unlocked.
Is it? Did I?
I mean, as unlocked as I think a fear chakra can be for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I wish I
Yeah.
could, man. That's like my big fear is not to ever like.
Oh, fuck. I don't know if this is going to be a good idea. We're going to send this dude straight to the ER.
I don't know.
In my mind, I can't stop thinking about as the way you live your life that you don't have health insurance. Like you go to the ER, you get $500 bills every time.
So this is a true story. On one of my little health adventures, I didn't have health insurance. And I wanted to get I did have health insurance, but I didn't have, I wanted to get a brain scan because I convinced myself something was up.
You gotta.
And the insurance was like, no, you're not paying for that. Like, you have no symptoms. And I'm like, fuck it. How much does it cost? And I like bartered with the people to give me a brain scan. I'll never forget. It was Halloween. The lady had Mickey Mouse ears on. It was awful.
Yeah. Did you offer to do a comedy show?
She like offered me candy. I'm like, just fucking scan my head. Please. Take the ears off.
That's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's a way to catch that insurance situation.
Yeah.
As a mom, very
Yeah.
concerned
Yeah,
about
Practical,
insurance.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move this along.
So this is your pelvis chakra.
Okay.
This is a little segment we like to call My Bad.
Okay.
So this is your chance to offer up an apology to a place, person, or thing in the universe in order to set your karma back to neutral.
Okay. Something I feel bad about that I'll always feel bad about is when I was in high school, there was this janitor. His name was Bobby, and he was the sweetest man. And he would always joke around with us. And one day at lunch, he was cleaning our trays, and he had been gone for a couple of days. And somebody asked where he was. And he said he was at a funeral of a friend. And we'd always joke with Bobby, but I took it too far. And I said, "Did you hook up with the body?" And he got very sad. And I've apologized to him, but I don't know. I I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think about me saying that to Bobby.
Aw.
And it hurts my feelings that I ever would think. I went for the bit.
Yeah, was it a guy friend or a female friend?
It was a guy friend.
You asked a man in mourning if he fucked his best friend's corpse.
I don't know if they were best friends.
He's best. This is his best friend. This is best friend for now.
It's a low moment. And I feel it happened. I was probably 16. I'm 34 now. I mean, it's regular. Like maybe every 3 or 4 days. I'm like, fuck it. I said that to Bobby. I cannot believe it.
What I mean, Ansley, what do you want to ask about that? Like I'm mortified. Like of course it's like I get it. You're an adult now, and I understand that you were
I got
you were
caught
being
up.
funny.
I got caught up because people were joking, and I got caught up, and I said that, and then
The mood just changed. It was
immediately.
The table turned on you.
The table literally it was a screeching halt, and everybody like turned to me. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was only asking because that's what I would have done. It's like, what do you even say? How do you try to save it at all?
No, I just was like, he said, he was like, that's an awful thing to say to somebody. And I was immediately like, you're right. That was such a bad thing to say.
Has that made you, like, have you learned from that though? Like, has that been like that's obviously something you think about. So
yeah.
It's like,
man, you should hear the things he asked me if I fucked.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I think so. I think I try to be more, conscious of that. But I mean, there's just not much. Like, you either learn that's the worst thing you could say to someone.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that, I kind of noticed that you don't really like roast people.
No, I don't. That's maybe from that, but that's also like I feel very insecure a lot, so it's hard for me to make somebody feel shitty.
You just don't want to put it on the table that you could also be roasted.
Yes, yeah. It's probably more of a selfish self-defense thing.
Everybody's like, Tyler's so sweet. He's such a sweet guy.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Did you hear what he said to his janitor? What a nightmare.
oh, poor Bobby.
Yeah,
I mean, that is. Yeah, that's also. I'm glad you shared that. I would never tell anybody.
Yeah. People heard it. They heard me say it. We've since become he still talks to me if I see him. So
Bobby does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I was very apologetic to him. Like, I went out of I felt super bad.
So apologetic that you stayed in his life somehow all these years. Like, I'm not in touch with any faculty from any of my schools.
I forced him to marry my mom, and I am very nice to him. I get him gifts.
Hey, stepdad, Bobby. Man, that's yeah. I mean, do you feel good saying that publicly?
No, I don't know. I wish I kind of didn't say it publicly, but yeah, I do. It's therapeutic to let people know that I'm a monster, I guess. You're
overcoming your monstrosity.
Yeah.
You were a monster.
Yeah.
Everybody's a monster at 16.
Yeah.
And that's goodness gracious. I just I couldn't imagine at 16 bombing that badly.
Yeah, dude, it was a bomb. It was, and then you're like, sometimes you'll bomb, you'll be like, oh yeah, this deserves to bomb.
So, and if you remember, not to harp on this too long, but did you what were the exact words? Like, did you make love to the body? Did you have sex with the body? Did you fuck the body?
I think I said fuck. I don't know for sure, but I'd be willing to bet I said fuck.
After you said it, did you go up top?
Well, it was one of those things where I said it. It was noisy. Like, people were having fun, and I said it more to the kids at the table, not thinking he would even hear it. And it was one of those moments where the noise went down, and as I said it, and I'm like, fuck, I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah. All right.
Love you, Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not to validate what you said or anything, but thinking back to what Bobby looked like at the time, did he have kind of a corpse fucker vibe?
Not at all. He was a vet, and he wore his SSS whatever Navy hat every day. He was the sweetest man on earth.
He's like an honorable man.
Such an you can't make a more honorable man than Bobby.
Tyler, that was
Listen,
funny.
he was
funny.
probably 55 and he went by Bobby.
Yeah, fair.
So
I mean, that's funny.
yeah.
If he's an honorable dude and you're like, did you fuck that corpse? did you hop up in the casket and fuck that body in front of everybody, Bobby?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, his mood. I've never seen a mood change.
Yeah.
Like more like high to low in a shorter amount of time. It was awful.
It'd be funny if you're like, hey, Bobby, quick question. He turns and salutes you.
Yeah. I don't know what answer I was looking for by asking that question.
Yeah. All right. That is fucking pelvis chakra unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Bobby's pelvis.
That took him back to like a horrible time in
Yeah.
Vietnam. Like,
I mean, I just
He's like seeing bodies all around him. He's like, we just needed to get warm.
yeah.
I didn't. Dude,
it's just fucking crazy. It's a crazy thing to say to somebody.
that is pretty wild. That is. I mean, I'm impressed that you still ended up being a comedian in life. I think that would have deterred me. Like, I guess I'm not funny. Yeah, hell yeah. It's Ansley. Let's keep this going.
Is this going well?
Yeah, this is for us. Yeah.
Now we're up to the gut chakra. How do you deal with disappointment?
Bobby would like to know.
I guess I deal with it. It's so interesting because comedy is mostly disappointment. So like you get used to like, I don't know if rejection and disappointment are the same, but I guess I deal with it by just doing another thing, like trying to like try again, you know, but like I just feel disappointed so often that it's like until you start feeling any success, you just accept it as, you know, like part of the deal. You know.
Do you remember a time when you were most disappointed in yourself?
In myself? Well, yeah, I just said. True. You're just disappointed. I get really disappointed in myself when I succumb to like the environment of like in stand. I did this throughout my life. I played sports and I would get nervous and remove myself from the moment because of my own like fear of failure, and then perform badly, and then after the fact be like mad at myself that because the result was the same.
Yeah.
But the result I was scared of is what happened, but had I not thought about that the whole time, the result may have been different. And that's what disappoints me the most, often and the most.
What when you say that, what is your sports disappointment that strikes you the most?
I've mentally didn't I've so many times like just remove myself out of like fear of, you know, looking bad or making a mistake that I don't show my like talent, or like I worked very hard at things, and then when the moment comes I would like fold under pressure. Like, you know how
So what sport?
I played basketball.
Okay. And were you on a good team or an okay team?
Yeah. I played. My team was fine. We were pretty good, and you know I was I was like a starter on the team. So
yeah. How far did you guys go?
We were the first team in my high school to go to like the district playoffs, and then I also played in college.
Okay.
But that's another. I just so many times talked myself into like failing that I didn't do well. You know, the pressure, like I put a lot of pressure on myself for stuff like unneeded. Some people just have fun. Like I don't really have fun. Anything, even stand up, I just don't have fun.
Oh my God. Yeah, Yeah, I guess what I was asking, like, is there a sport? Because I'll tell you the way you described letting the nerves overcome you in a way that causes you to fail, which is again the same result, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I played football for a little bit, and I was a defensive player, which was fine by me because it felt low pressure, right? I would just like crush people in the secondary, right? And then one time one of our running backs got injured, and we didn't really kick field goals a lot because we didn't have a good field goal kicker. So we always went for 2. And they put me in for the 2-point conversion one time. And I had to, like, as the running back, I had to run through the line, turn right, turn around, and the ball was going to get thrown to me. And wide open in the end zone. And the ball was coming at me and bounced off my chest. I think about that all the time.
Yeah, no, that was such a relatable thing. I think
Yeah.
I immediately had like a soccer memory. Because, like,
Yeah.
like I played defense too. I think because like the fear of like the pressure of like and there was one time that I was like like right there and the ball was coming across and all I had to do was like tap it into the goal and it was like and I like
Right, yeah.
didn't- I don't know, I whiffed. I forget what I know it didn't go in the goal.
There was a time in college I was having a really good game. I think I went to Northampton Community College my first year, and I think I had this single game scoring record at the time, and the game was going so well for me that I got nervous that I wouldn't like end the game well, like that I would lose the magic, and I just fouled myself out. I remember fouling on purpose because like I didn't want to ruin how, and that like looking back on that, that's just like totally crazy.
Yeah.
It's just lack of, like Michael Jordan, people are like, he wants the last shot. I'm the opposite of that. I'll foul myself out so I don't have to take the last shot.
Ooh, sorry guys. I mean,
I would have, but
playing D too hard,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
Because I have to sit at the end of this bench and untie my shoes for the rest of the game.
Yeah, 6 fouls. Did you make like what were they ridiculous fouls or were they
No.
ticky tack?
It was just, it was like the guy was going up the sideline and I just fouled him knowing I was going to foul him. I didn't like try to steal it. I just
Yeah. You went over and
fouled
stole
out.
the glasses off the other coach.
yeah.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a disappointment chakra unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually I have the most fouls ever in a high school basketball game, and it'll never be broken. That's a record that I do have, though.
Wait, how
7.
did you get 7 fouls?
I fouled out 5.
Yeah.
And then the ref will call in the foul at the scorer's table, right? So as he was doing that, I said something to him. I forget what I said under my breath, and he gave me a technical.
Yeah.
And then I threw a water bottle into the bleachers and got a second technical. You can't get more fouls than that.
That's a lot of fouls.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. Is that a Pennsylvania state record?
It's got to be a national. I don't know how the international rules are, but
Yeah, it's a global record.
So if you would sit my mom down and say, what's the most disappointing moment? Because she didn't know about the Bobby thing, she would then say, when I witnessed my son throw a water bottle into the stands.
Did you hit someone?
I hit their athletic director in the shoulder. So that was the worst guy to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew he did something to an opposing faculty member.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Sick.
Yeah. Man, that's definitely a disappointment chakra.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all
I
that.
actually feel better now.
Yeah?
I do feel good now.
That's good.
Not
Oh, yeah.
good, but I feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Ansley, take us
We
away.
ready? What have you learned from grief?
Shit. Grief. Shit. What have I learned from grief? That it's like at the other end of it, when you go through something that's like traumatic or whatever, in that moment, it feels insurmountable. But then at the other end of it, you feel very almost like impressed with yourself that you got through that part. So the grief part like tests you, I guess you would say, but then you do feel very like rewarded that you still are there, you know, and like you go through something bad and then at the end of it, you're like, but I still like, I'm having a decent day, you know. Sometimes you'll feel guilty after how good you feel when you're going through shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then after a while, you'll be like, damn, I didn't think I could get to this point. And then, so what I learned is that if you just like, you know, keep your foot in it and just, you know, keep waking up the next day, it'll all eventually kind of sort itself out a little bit for the most part.
Now, not to harp on this too much, but do you remember, do you have a situation, like when that question is asked, is there a grief moment that comes to mind?
Yeah, I have, I mean, I have a bunch that, like, I remember, so my dad died, right? And I felt grief, you know, and
how old were you, not to interrupt, but
21.
Okay.
And he and then the I was with a girl, like, so my girlfriend, it's a weird kind of thing, like my girlfriend in high school got sick and she was like really terminally ill, and she would like get this terrible news from these doctors, right? And then I would go over and like you'd have to talk to like a 17-year-old who's like just got the worst news. So you would like kind of figure out how to like not be awful, like just try to not like you're trying to cheer somebody up. And then my friend died of cancer, and she came to his funeral with me. And I remember feeling the most amount of like grief and like just like like looking at this girl, like that's where it was going,
Yeah.
and she knew that.
She knew it, yeah.
And that was a moment of my life where I was like damn, like just the most sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though my dad died, I was still like more sad.
More sad for her, or just like
Just
life in
yeah,
general?
like
or
holy shit, like
Yeah.
this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's probably the moment.
Yeah, I mean, those are like, and again, that was that year you described.
Yeah, that
earlier.
was a weird year for me.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense with what you learned from grief, in that, I mean, I do see how seeing yourself get through those things can make you proud of yourself.
Yeah. But it also, in that moment, like her strength also made me feel almost less, because I'm like, damn, I'm sad. Like, imagine she's way stronger than you. You know what I mean? And then you feel like less than a little bit because you're, you know, it was just mind blowing. Like it was a weird sensation where you're like, you're worried that like, this girl's going through this and in this moment, but then you're making it about you a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you feel sad and like, kind of like, I don't know, strange. It's strange and sad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I want to ask so many questions about.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm an open book.
Well,
I mean, I think it's interesting, like the dynamic that you're in, because like when you do lose people, you know, it affects everybody in different ways, you know, and it has, you know, like I don't know, like that's just a crazy because you can never quite understand what somebody else is going through in the moment, but you know that everybody's having their own struggles, and I don't know, I just feel like that must have been,
It was wild.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's where my brain is questioning. It's just like all these different things going on. It just
Because it was your best friend, right? But it's like now you're watching her and her life struggle, and like.
And I feel a lot of guilt to him, because when he got sick, he knew what I was like, me and her, and then he said that he had cancer, and I'm like, and the way he worded it, that it wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm like, yo, man, like, don't make this about you. And then, in fact, his shit was way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's did you say that to him, or you thought that?
I thought that. I didn't even really get the time to say it because he was sick for like maybe 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was,
What was it like being around young people that were facing death? Like I haven't been around somebody my age that's like, wait, just, like.
That's what was crazy. Like, cause like, I'm like from a, middle class family. Like I didn't struggle like growing up. Like my life was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then and a lot of my friends were the same way. So we didn't have struggles like that you would imagine. And then you get hit with these things and you're like a privileged kid, but like privilege it doesn't matter how privileged you are.
Yeah.
That shit'll fuck you up. And it like knows no it takes no prisoners. It doesn't care if you're from like a rich family. You deal with a death, it's still gonna fuck you up unless you're a sociopath.
Yeah.
But it was, and that's interesting because I saw like all my friends kind of were like, this is just movie shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is, you know what I mean? So it was weird to see it. Everybody going through the same like identity crisis where like you didn't think bad shit was gonna happen to you. You're from this like suburban town. That's stuff that you see on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed that Ansley tried to sneak in there the idea that she was somehow still young. Did you catch that? I caught that. I caught that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I just went through a weird movie death situation where my cousin, who was a little bit younger than me, we basically the bottom line is we had to go to the hospital to watch her die.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very surreal experience.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean, that's what I still say to the day. It's like, that's the kind of stuff that happens in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't ever expect that something like that is going to happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, I'll never forget. So I was at a Killers concert in Atlantic City and I got home and there was like a cop in the driveway and, I was like, I thought my brother did something, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, just call your mom. And he wouldn't tell me what happened. I called them. They're going to the hospital and they said dad got sick. And, it's your dad. Like my dad was like a big dude, like like we were playing basketball together the night before. So you don't think anything like serious is going to happen. So we went in the room and I got to see him and I'm so thankful for this moment. He couldn't open his eyes or talk, and they said, "Hey, Todd, your sons are in the room," and you saw him like he was started to move around, like trying to talk and say something. So he can only squeeze. So he you could say I love you to him, and he could squeeze that back. So like at least I'm so thankful for that moment because But even then, they were like the worst case. Like we thought, worst case scenario, he was going to be like in a wheelchair or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was really the last time I interacted with him. And you're like, you're looking back now, like that's shit. Like in the moment, you don't think of, hey, I'm in this weird movie like thing.
Yeah.
But looking back, you're like, holy shit. I wish I would have, appreciated that a little bit more in the moment. I'm happy it happened, but
Yeah. Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy. Like I like, not that I like sharing this stuff, but I don't do it. So it like makes me feel good to get some of this shit off my chest.
I'm sure it does. And that is a heart chakra unlocked.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, Ansley, move us along.
All right. We're up to your throat chakra now.
Oh.
So what's a favorite lie that you have told? Or you get extra karmic points if it's a lie that's still in rotation.
I lie a lot about my I don't know how to like I don't know how to say it, like the what I want to what my plan is to get myself out of like a shit, like my shit, like not that my situation is shitty. I'm living with my mom. I don't love it, but I could very easily have a better plan to get myself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of stay in the comfort of not making like an exit strategy, but I'll tell people that I have an exit strategy, but it doesn't exist.
What's your current exit? What's your current
like that? You're looking for another job, or like I'll tell people that like I'm maybe I'm thinking about moving back to New York. I'm not thinking about that. I haven't thought about that legitimately once.
Like
and people are gonna watch this, and I'm fucking sorry, but now you know I'm moving back.
It's so funny to me that like the idea that even when you tell the lie, it still doesn't strike you. Like, it still doesn't cross your mind.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm thinking about moving to New York.
Yeah. Well, because people, you know, you'll be like, well, cause it's a weird thing. Like I'm 34, and like my friends are like moving on with their lives and like having like success in their life, and they're like, what are you doing, Tyler? And you know, I'm sure they're not attacking me,
mm-hmm.
but I hear it that way, you know, because you're insecure. I'm insecure about where I'm at, and so I have to make up these lies about. I'm trying to, you know, I'm thinking about. I don't know where I'm gonna land yet. It's like I know where I'm gonna like. I will land anywhere. I would like to land anywhere.
I'm gonna land in a twin bed in my mom's house. I know exactly where I'm gonna land. Yeah, I'm not. This is. I mean, we've had so many people on the show, you know, telling their lies, and I think that was the first one that made me look at myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, dude. What the fuck was that all about? What are you trying to do to us? No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like so, I mean, like, I'm curious as to other lies. Like, is it always, I'm thinking about moving back to New York, or are there other?
No, it'll be like, I'm say, you know, I gotta pay for this, or I gotta, you know, whatever. You kind of just kick the ball down the alley.
Yeah.
And it's less of a lie and more of a deflection to other. Like I've mastered the art of turning a conversation to where I'll say a thing that I prefer to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so is that lying? It's not in the you know, the literal sense, but it is kind of I avoid a ton.
Yeah. Now, is this something that you've expressed out loud before? Holy shit. This is so, I mean, going forward.
I'm going to be in a lot of trouble after this.
Yeah. I mean, but
can this be the locked episode?
We'll make this the Patreon episode. Yeah. So going forward, now that you've expressed it out loud, are you going to have expectations of yourself to actually get on the ball, or
yeah, you got to, because I feel I've been I get such like because we started around the same time doing this shit, right? Like, and it was very easy when nobody was having success,
mm-hmm.
but now like we have friends and people that we started with and started after us that are having success. It's like, no, it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, it does happen. You're just probably not working hard enough. So, you know, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to like live at your, are you going to ever buy a car? Like, I'll have these like daily thoughts, and you're like, dude, you got to make a plan. Stop kicking the ball down the alley and like at least make a plan. You don't have to stick to it. Just make it.
Yeah.
And I don't even make it.
Man. So, I mean, well, Ansley's actually in a phase, I guess, the stage right after that, where she's like reading books about like atomic habits and you know, and trying to, you know, I sometimes when she here I'll express this truth. Sometimes when she's telling me about these things that she's doing, I feel like she's like, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
dude.
You know,
Like you get, is that like, I feel the same way. Like somebody will, I always think people are saying things with an agenda that's trying to make me feel a type of way.
yeah.
I can never like, is that what you do too? Like she'll say something and you'll twist it to like, oh, you're trying to convince me of what to do.
Well, not everything, but this particular thing, these atomic habits, and like I'm getting my nutrition right, and then I'm like up late eating donuts and shit. And it's like, is she talking to me?
Yeah.
I think she's talking to me.
Are you?
No, I'm working on myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what insecurity does.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy, man.
It makes it, you know, Mike Rainey, when we were doing his episode, he said something. What was the exact quote?
About being
About how insecurity makes you selfish?
Yeah, like you can be so insecure sometimes you make everything about yourself.
Yeah.
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 And it's like,
Yeah.
so I think that's,
It's like narcissism.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also insecure about, I mean, like I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm doing better now with that, and like stepping myself out there and trying to do things. But yeah, we're gonna move on.
I think though, there's a chance that nobody has it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you put all this pressure on yourself and you think you're the only one on earth that is like feeling this way, but it's probably not the case at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been like, so Sidney said, like, I've recently started working with a nutritionist because, like, and like, it's something I've been totally interested in doing for a long time, but it was like, it's scary to take yourself serious enough to make that step. You know, you're like, who am I to do this? Can I even, you know, like,
Yeah.
why? And like, you go through all those, like, why am I doing this? Is it worth it? Like, should I be, you know, devoting this much time or attention? Are people going to make fun of me? Or people going to be like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like you get all insecure about even
for sure.
trying about
for sure. Like
to do things.
making a conscious effort at anything, like you feel weird about.
Yeah.
If you make like a legit, like I want to do this, because your fear is to look dumb and fail.
Yeah.
But nobody
Yeah.
gives a shit really.
No.
Yeah, one of my things is kind of wrapped up in this podcast. Like in this, I feel like it's doing okay. I feel like we're growing at a rate that I'm comfortable with, right? But I should be putting up the clips more often, and I haven't done it in weeks. And people will say to me, like, I love those little clips you put up of the podcast, and I haven't done it in like probably months at this point. And I'm like, are they telling me to put clips up? You know what I mean? It's But you know what? Now that I said that out loud, I will start doing it.
All right.
Damn it, Tyler.
Yeah. Well, dude, even social, like I do the same thing. Like I'll be like, I'll feel so insecure posting a clip, you know, because it's like, I just think you look lame.
Yeah.
Like promoting yourself, but they want you to. And
Yeah.
if they don't, probably the people that don't care they won't watch it.
Yeah.
It's not for them. But I get in my head, I'm like, don't post something. You're an idiot. You suck. You know, like people don't want to see it. But then people will be like, hey, can you post more of these things?
Yeah.
It's also crazy to watch your kids develop habits that you're like, shit, that's one of my bad habits. And I'm giving that to my child. Like, that's fucked up. Like, I need to, like, and then I'm going to yell at them about it. Like, you know, like this, like, where does this cycle end? You know,
I've noticed that with my mom. Like, I'll do things and I'm like, oh, you do those things.
Yeah.
Does she also sleep in a twin bed?
She puts two together, so I think it's a 4. They call it a 4 bed.
Yeah. All right. That is a fucking throat chakra unlocked if I ever seen one. Man. And before we move on, I want to thank you for how fucking open. you
Yeah,
are.
dude.
Yeah.
I was excited to do this because this is the only way I'll talk about some of this stuff.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're conditioned to like bottle stuff up.
Well, you're going to love the Patreon episode. By the way, subscribe to the Patreon. If you've been liking everything that you've been hearing from Tyler so far, you are definitely going to want to see how he opens up on the Patreon.
I'm calling Bobby. I'm gonna call Bobby.
You don't
I
have
would
to call
love
him,
to
man.
call Bobby.
Bobby's here. Come on. Yeah, that's
I would lose my fucking mind.
yeah. Ansley, move us along.
So now we are to the third eye chakra.
Yeah, so we're out of the physical chakras. We're into the metaphysical chakras.
Am I almost
now.
home? Am I there? Am I
Oh,
close?
we're close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what is something that you always thought was separate, but you're learning is the same?
Well, I think kind of in the same breath of what we just talked about, I've realized that failing is as important. Like I think, like you get excited if I'll just use comedy, like if a show goes well, but it's also if something doesn't work, that doesn't mean anything concrete. It just is you need both of you need a failure and a success to really figure it out. So it's kind of like the way to get to where you need to go, so, and I think that's my biggest flaw with, self-confidence and, whatever it is, like I'll get so hung up on the failure, but that's like literally almost at least as equally as important as, the triumph.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially like doing jiu-jitsu competitions, like it's two people. Somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win.
Yeah.
But you learn more from losing, honestly, sometimes.
Yeah.
But it feels better to win.
And like it's never people like what people's opinion of you is probably not what your opinion is of you.
Yeah.
Or at least your opinion of their opinion of you.
Yeah.
And then once you start like saying shit out loud, like if you're like you're worried about what your opinion is of somebody else's opinion of you, you're like, what the fuck is? Why am I using this my brain to even?
Yeah.
I'm wasting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, this is probably the most in-depth we've ever had a conversation, right? Are you embarrassed that you're intelligent?
I don't like. I think I'm smart, but I don't really think I am necessarily intelligent. You know what I mean? Like I think I excel in certain areas, but I'm clinically not like I had an IEP.
You have not been diagnosed intelligent.
I've been diagnosed. I like in school I had an IEP, which is like they get like it's like special.
You get extra time.
Yeah, I had a very like my mom was a very active mom. Like she sought out why I sucked at school, but it was like I didn't like it. But then you go through all these classes and these tests, and you like maybe it made me feel dumb. Because you're in this like I didn't have regular study hall. I was with this other group, and like you take your test longer, and you're in a different hallway. Like all these accommodations are for you, and like you're like, damn, am I dumb? So it's like this weird. But I do think I'm, smart in certain areas. But I understand what you're saying. But we grew up where it wasn't cool to be intelligent. You know what I mean? Like getting C's was cooler. And I think now being smart is cool, which is great. But there is part of that too where you're like, damn, it's not cool to try.
I was a straight A student, no big deal.
Well, you went to Lafayette, right?
Well, for college, I wasn't my high school.
But you got into Lafayette.
Well, yeah.
That's not easy to do.
You don't know that.
I feel like I do know that.
Easier than you think it is.
But they wouldn't say, I wouldn't feel that way.
Yeah, but did you try? Did you try to get in? That's the thing.
No.
So I get that a lot. Lafayette is a good college, and people will say, oh, that's a hard school to get into. It's like, did you try?
Yeah.
If you didn't try, you don't know how hard it is to get in.
I mean, yeah, you got me there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I have no answer to that.
Yeah. yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't have got in. I wouldn't have got it, dude. I wish you could. Maybe I'd apply now.
Yeah.
Just like with all the criteria.
We should do that. We should start applying to colleges, like really good colleges.
Yeah.
With our like current criteria. We'll take the SATs.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore, do you?
For Lafayette?
A lot of colleges don't even ask for the SATs anymore.
So, fun fact, the year that I applied to Lafayette was the 1 year where they were like, we don't need SAT scores.
That's a pretty sick year.
It's a pretty sick year. A lot of people like me got into Lafayette that year.
Well, I remember my community college is up there, like in that area, and I took accounting, and my accounting professor was also the accounting professor at Lehigh.
Okay.
And he's like, the first day he told us, he's like, I'm not, nothing's different. I'm going to teach you the same class. I'm not changing it because you guys are dumber. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
But I got my first exam back, and he had it folded up, and it said, see me after class. No grade on it. And he was like, you need to drop this class.
Oh, no.
And like, I took his advice. I dropped the class. You didn't need to twist my arm into dropping a class.
yeah.
But so that's, I know, and a lot of the kids did drop the class. So I knew it was very hard to get into these schools. Sydney's lying a little bit.
Well, I also had to drop an accounting class.
Accounting sucks.
Dude, it's just too tedious.
Yeah.
It's too much paying attention you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not into it.
But yeah, that's definitely a third eye chakra unlocked. I like your answer about success and failure being the same.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very important lesson that people.
And you didn't even go, huh? What does that question mean? Like, I
Do you see
feel
what I'm
like you're
saying?
the first person.
Yeah, it's like.
And Sidney would say the exact same thing I said to try to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what always happens.
Really? How
Yeah.
would you explain it?
He would use my words,
I
but
would
say it.
Yeah, I would
as him.
I would say it slower sometimes. Put a comma in a different place. But I can't think of another way to ask that question. So again, not that hard to get into Lafayette. That's all I'm saying.
You didn't even know where commas go.
no, putting at the beginning of the sentence. Ansley, let's get this crown chakra
All right,
open.
this is the last question.
Okay.
It's a 2-part question.
Sweet.
So what is one thing you can't give up and why? That's the first part. And what would giving it up mean?
I can't obviously give up this like wild dream. And I think giving it up would mean that I have to make a plan to like find, like I'd have to, I think the excuse of not making it is more than, it's more of an excuse than me being upset that I didn't make it. I think by admitting that, then I have to like find a job, like a real life, and I'm scared of that. Where like it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like is it more of a fear of having to start a new life in your 30s, or is it that you really are pursuing this dream? I can't tell sometimes.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like every single answer you gave has me deep in thought about that answer. It's just like, shit.
I think about this
Yeah.
stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Like I have like I don't even have music in the car when I drive, and I should think about. But I'm like, fuck, dude. What am I doing?
Yeah, I also don't have music in the car when I drive.
People say it's like, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Is that like a?
It's weird.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing, I don't know if you remember Anton.
Yeah.
So we were doing.
I just saw Anton. He was, I forget where we were. Oh, at the Pop-In, Adam Nutter's show, and
Okay.
yeah, for the first time he was doing a guest spot there. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah. So he was, he went to NACA and he got all these college shows up in New England. And I had a car, so I was opening up for him. And one time he just wanted to see how long I would go without putting the music on, because he just thought it was such a serial killer thing that I did.
Yeah.
And we drove from here to New Hampshire, radio silence. Like I don't put the.
I won't. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I could. You would be another car and just not speak.
I mean, we would speak every now and
Okay,
again.
yeah.
It was radio silence, not like car silence. Okay. You know what I mean? But
There was a commercial every now and then.
yeah.
Car dealership would try to sell you a car.
Yeah. So, but that is man, that's a crown chakra unlocked. And how do you feel at the end of this?
I feel good.
Yeah?
I feel like maybe some of the like I knew if I didn't tell some of the backstory, some of my answers, so maybe I forced some of those like sad things early on.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the Bobby thing I probably would have. I'm kind of happy. I'm not happy. But I think he would appreciate it. I did it for him.
Yeah.
I did it for him.
Yeah, this one's for Bobby. Shout
Yeah.
out Bobby.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Shout out Bobby. All right, so again, guys, check out Tyler's podcast, Night Moves, that he does with Lou Maziano and Sean Preston. 3 very funny guys. They also have a live show up in Emmaus. I'll say it like you said it. And also, you have a Patreon too?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Check out their Patreon as well.
Yeah.
And also get on this Two Jack Bros Patreon, because this one, what we do, it's a little bit, we enlighten the shadow self of the person. So as above is below, this podcast is above. The Patreon is below. It's Two Jack Bros After Dark, baby. And we're about to get into it. So thank you so much for listening. And we're out.
Two Jack Bros.